right, hello everyone. I thought I'll go live today because I am right now in a new era of my life. Instead of talking about academic writing, my new venture is to talk about leadership and also about personal branding. So today I'm going to talk about a topic that is really important for women, high achievers who want to get into leadership position. And so the topic we're going to talk about today is three mistakes that will hinder your leadership position. I'm going to talk through the lens of academia and medicine, but for people, even women in health sciences or people who are high achieving, this will be relevant for you. All right, so let's get started. So the first mistake will be having this mindset of always busy, right? So if you are the person who you're high achieving, and every time you see somebody, you meet somebody, the first thing when they ask you, oh, how are you doing, and you say, oh, busy, I'm swamped. Oh yeah, busy, busy. So if you have this mindset of holding always busy in your everyday life, in how you speak, in the way you are presenting yourself, this would be a major hindrance in your potential of leadership. And there are multiple reasons why. So I'm going to go through one at a time. So the first thing is when you're always busy, just the fact that you're busy means that you are not able to look at things in the future. So you're always in the weeds, always doing the things. Like, so you're in the execution mode instead of in the strategic thinking mode. You're no longer up in the higher level when you're thinking about vision. You're not thinking about changing direction or moving in one direction. You're always just doing, doing, doing. So that's the first thing. The second thing that when you have this mindset of always busy is the perception of how people view you. So if you think about it, if you keep saying that I'm always busy, it tells me that you're not efficient, you're not effective, and also you probably do not have your life together. Or maybe you are too busy to take on new projects. So when you have this mindset of always busy, people stop seeing you as the leader. They may think of you as a hard worker. You're always hardworking, very dependable. But when you're always busy, they can't see you. They can't visualize you as the leader because the top leaders are not always busy doing things. They're always at ease. They always hold space. They are always there to provide guidance to people. So just being busy all the time should not be worn as a badge of honor. Instead, if you start seeing yourself talking about this a lot, you need to pause and start thinking, okay, why am I busy? What is it that causing me to say that? And then the third thing, sometimes you also want to start thinking about this busyness is that are you hiding behind the work? Because being a new, you may be a great expert for a long time. You have been contributing into your field for a long time, and now you're seen as an expert. As time goes, you want to move up to the next level to be in a leadership position. And here you may be afraid. There may be new skills that you're not aware of, you're not comfortable with. You may not be comfortable speaking in front of people, and so because of that, you're hiding behind busy so that you can, it's a way out. And then the final reason when you keep saying that you are busy is that people no longer want to give you a big opportunity because they think that you won't be able to handle it. So all the big opportunities, the high visibility projects will be given to somebody who is less busy. Okay, so I think to wrap it up, the first mistake that hinders women from taking up leadership position or even being seen as to have leadership potential is this mindset of being always busy. Now, the second thing that second big mistake in terms of something that will hinder you from being seen as a leader is the lack of leadership presence. Okay, sometimes people call it executive presence, sometimes people call it leadership presence. I'm going to break it down. Okay, so there are many definitions behind it, but let's break it down to presence by itself. What is presence? Presence by itself actually means that you are your being. Is your being, and people actually feel you, they see you, and they tend to perceive you in a certain way. So when somebody has executive presence or leadership presence, they see you, they feel you, or they hear of you. When they think about you, they almost feel like you are the leader, right? So it's the perception or the sense or the feeling that you are a leader. In order to have that, I think the thing is a lot of people just keep doing their work and not think about the outward presentation. So to for people to feel and perceive you as a leader, to have executive presence, even the word says feel, right? So feel means comes from the senses. So people need to think, they need to see you, they need to hear you, and they also need to feel you. So these three, in terms of senses, is key. How do they see, look, and feel you? Okay, it is just on surface level. It's easy. Okay, first thing you actually need to be physically present in the room. So if you're always away, you're always hiding in a room, always hiding everywhere, you never come into a specific board meeting. Anytime there's an event that you get to see a lot of people, you don't go. You hide around. So you number one, people don't actually see you. You're physically not even there. So that is one way to reduce your executive presence. Then secondly, it's also digitally. So it's not just in the in-person event. If somebody doesn't see you digitally, that could impair you. So I'm not talking about social media or anything like that yet. We are talking about just within institution. How do people see you as a leader? Um, when you're on Zoom call or Teams meeting, ask yourself, am I showing my face? Do you turn on the camera? That's one thing. Or are you always in that little box and people can only see your name but never recognize you? So I'm going to share a quick little story as well. So I love connecting with people. So anytime I meet a new people, I'll try my best to either connect to them on the phone or on the Zoom meeting. And best is Zoom meeting because that way I have an actual connection with them. I see them, I recognize their face. There was one time a lady, high in position, I wanted to connect with her. And during the meeting, she could not turn her camera. The camera was off. And so now, because of that, even though we had a conversation, I just could not register her face. I've never seen her before. So now it's like a distant memory versus somebody I have seen them before through a Zoom call or even in person. The face to face connection, being able to see them and hear them makes such a big difference in connecting and in also to show the body language in terms of how you present yourself. Now, the second part of the executive presence is not just how you see, but also how you speak. So people who lack executive presence tend to have issues with um, articulating their thoughts. So what do I mean by articulation? Means you're able to talk about your thoughts in a concise manner and in a cohesive manner. So I come from academic writing background. So a lot of times the way I speak already comes with some sort of structure. So it is to me that was actually my good playground on how I learned how to speak. So when I write, when I speak, I tend to start with the main topic first, then I come up with the reason and the context. Whereas somebody who's new, who's not articulate, who has trouble speaking, they will go in their story in different tangents, and then at the end they summarize it. But when you do that, halfway through, I don't know what direction you're going, so people have trouble following you. So my simple trick with executive presence in terms of speaking is first I give the main topic, then the three reasons or the three bullet points. So then you can go into context. So that's the second way to develop and build your executive presence. Then the third part about executive presence or leadership presence is body language. So you may have seen videos about body language. How do you take up space? So that's a really important one. Now I want to make sure you don't think about space in like, oh, how men spreading or just open it up. Yeah, that's one point. But as a woman leader, you also do not want to go against your natural being. If you don't naturally spread your legs, sometimes it may even seem vulgar. Um, do it naturally as how you are yourself as a woman. Okay, for women, sometimes there's one exercise that I love, which is to think about body proxemics, which is body in how you move your body in space. So it's not just where you sit, how you sit, but also how you move around the world. If you think about it, a lot of times when you're walking on a sidewalk, okay, the natural uh, the natural thing to do when you see somebody coming is you yield. You start moving aside for somebody. You're like, oh, so sorry, so sorry. You start doing like that. You start yielding. That is sometimes a signal that you are not confident. So for women who always have trouble with yielding and not being able to take up space physically, I have a little tiny exercise for you, which is you walk on a sidewalk. Okay, this is just an exercise for 10 minutes. Walk on a sidewalk, and you tell yourself you're not going to yield to anybody. That means you're not going to give way to anybody for a good 10 minutes, right? Unless it's a lady who needs to push a stroller through, an old lady, you try. Otherwise, let people walk around you. That's a training ground for you to learn how to hold space. Okay, not about just swagger, but really learn how to hold space and groundedness. At first, it could be really uncomfortable because when you're walking, the tendency is like, oh, I don't want to be inconvenient to other people. But this is just an exercise for you. 10 minutes, nobody's going to know you. It's fine. Okay, after about 10 minutes, people will start yielding away. It's the new changing energy, changing feel, changing vibration, changing confidence. Once you do that, people will naturally move around you. So if you find that you do not have a body language that shows confidence, this is a simple exercise for you. And then another exercise you could also think about or is about where you sit and how you sit. So when you sit, let's say in a conference room, right? A few signals that could be helpful for you. So don't just sit at the corner of the room where nobody sees you. Okay. Try to sit next to people where the conversation happens. So when you're speaking, you're contributing to the conversation, that people can start seeing you, that you're visible now. All right. And one key thing, people think that just talking all the time shows executive presence, but you also know you have seen those meetings when you go in and there's that one person who keeps talking and talking and talking, and they can't read the room, and everybody's tired when they're talking. You're hoping for them to stop talking. So really start thinking about having a conversation, not just by exerting your opinion, but only contributing when it is necessary, contributing when you think it's meaningful. All right. And then the even higher level, sometimes it's not just about talking, but pausing to ask the great questions. Best leaders actually know how to ask best questions. All right. So just to wrap up, the second point is the lack of executive presence that hinders somebody to have their leadership position. Now, the third mistake that holds people back from leadership position is the lack of personal branding. Or let me reframe that. It's actually unaligned personal branding. So we all have personal branding, whether we like it or not. Okay. Now, what is personal branding? There are many definitions out there, but the one to me feels like the best essence is the gut feeling or intuition people feel as soon as they hear your name. So when you think about brand like Coca-Cola, let's say it's a brand, when you hear that, you think, oh, it's a sweet drink, it's fizzy, it's cold. That sort of feeling you get when you hear that brand. So it's the same when you hear a name for personal branding. So for the longest time, me, Gia, as my personal brand, whether intentional or not, I was um, a physician. I was a nephrologist. With my writing, it was on acute kidney injury. So that was the unintentional side. That's what people do see me anyway. Then with time, I wanted to change because it wasn't fully myself. What is fooling myself is I love talking about writing, academic writing. What I also like is about exercise and fitness and also productivity. So these were all the little things that represents me, that makes me me. So now I'm also interested in beautiful things. So I love beautiful teacups. I love flowers. So when I was not intentional, everything around me just seemed very sterile. It wasn't me. So it is really important as you start developing your personal brand. The question is it intentionally you or somebody created the brand just based on what they see, right? So the goal is how do you craft your own personal brand that aligns with you and what you want to get out of that brand. Now, before talking about personal brand in detail, let's talk about what personal branding does for you. So, personal branding, it opens up many doors. So, it's one of those leverage points where if you have it, doors just open for you easily. So, think about this. Okay, so very recently, me and I'm the secretary and the president of a national organization. So we are looking for speakers as a keynote speaker. So as we are thinking about keynote speakers, there were several names that were given to us as recommendation, right? So when we saw that name, so what did we do first? It wasn't we look at their CV, we didn't do any of that. What did first was let us Google. We asked, okay, what's this person known for? So we Google them, we look for them, we look at their bio, institutional bio or other sort of bio. We look for them in YouTube and see whether they got interviewed by other people before. We see whether their social media, anything that seemed like a red flag, anything that they said that was against our philosophy, anything that they said that was a bit of weird values, or did they have values that align with us? So these were a lot of things that we saw on internet, at least digitally, on that person's brand to decide whether we want to invite that person to speak at this national conference. So think about your personal brand in terms of how it opens doors for you. And also personally, every time where I get invited to speak, whether it's keynote, whether it's a major conferences, it wasn't just only about the time where it's not just because I published a few papers. There were plenty of people who have more publications than I did, that were more senior than I had, that were more senior than I am. They are more experienced, and they also have titles that were much higher than me. I'm an associate professor, but some were division chief, like all different levels. But why did they invite me to be in this particular committee, or why did they invite me to be in this work group? When I asked them personally, it's like, oh, what's the reason that you took me? They say, oh yeah, I found you online. I saw you write something about this. I saw that you were passionate about this. I saw certain values about you. Sometimes it's just vibes, certain things like the vibe I was giving out. So everything part of this is personal brand. Okay, so it opens up doors, so many opportunities that were given just because of my personal brand. All right, now let's talk about the flip side of the people who do not have personal brand, or personal brand that is not aligned. So what do I mean by that? So let's say your brand could be, they say, oh, they ask so and so, let's say Bethany. Okay, oh, what do you think about Bethany? And and then the division chief says, yeah, just a hard worker, very hardworking, very dependable, right? So you don't want to be known as the dependable person. So it is good to some level, but if somebody says you're dependable, there are plenty of dependable person. And if somebody just calls you hardworking, there are plenty of hardworking people. So the bar is the default should be everybody should be pretty hardworking. Somebody should be pretty smart. You're a doctor. These are the default. So if that is your brand, that's definitely not enough, because how are you different from any other doctors in the country, right? Or in the world? So the first problem mistake is having this brand that is showing this badge of honor that may not serve you that well, number one. Or number two, a type of personal brand where you put out a lot of social media, okay? You put out so many things, but it's not really you. You think that's what people want to see. You think it's all about recognition. You think it's all about the titles. You put everything up all on social media or anywhere else, but it doesn't really align with you. So that's also another problem, because now when they see you in real life, that is inauthentic. They're like, it doesn't really feel like that person. So it's really important. The personal brand needs to be aligned with who you are. If not, it almost seems like a performance. So that's the two N, the invisible one, okay, where people create the brand, they put the brand on you, or you created a brand that's not aligned with you. So these are two opposite mistakes with brand that you want to avoid. What you want is the one that aligns with you and what you want. That way, you not only open up opportunities, but you also you attract new talents. Because recently I just came from a leadership conference, and I was talking to everybody. Okay, so some were principal investigators, some were physicians, some were biotech company uh, leaders, investors, and I asked, okay, what does personal branding do for you? So they said some of them, the most important thing is they want to attract talent, because if you are a principal investigator, you want good people to come to you, right? You don't want any postgrads that are mediocre. You don't want undergrad that are more weak to come to you. You want the best of the best. So they want good talent. And when they don't have a good personal brand, they can't attract better talent. And then even for people who are in biotech or consulting, I was like, okay, what is personal branding for you? It's like, oh yeah, it attracts consulting businesses or opportunities. It also allows me to speak to new people, and um, really for him is more investing opportunities. So really think about your personal brand in opening up doors for you without you having to chase it. Right. So I think to me, personal branding, that's the most important. Now, I want to recap about the three mistakes that people make in terms of that hinder your leadership potential. So recap: the first one is having this mindset of always busy, or having this badge of always busy. Right? When you're always busy, people don't see you as a leader; they see you as a worker. Number one, they stop giving you opportunities because you're probably too busy to take on a new, juicy, more visible project. All right. And then people will start looking at you as less competent, because if you're all so busy, you won't be able to lead or bring people to a new vision. The second mistake is the lack of executive presence. So lack of presence, I think about three ways how people see, hear, and feel you. Okay, see is how you are visually seen by others, whether in person or through digitally. How you speak, whether you insert yourself during conversation or even ask good questions. Second one, and also your body language, how you put yourself in the space within this world, within the space, exert your position within the space. And then the third one, as I was talking, either lack of personal branding or unaligned personal branding. All right, so I'm going to wrap up today. So if this is something that's resonating with you, I am going to have a masterclass on May 30th, Friday, and we're going to break down more detail about all the different elements of leadership, leading through your core, um, leading authentically, and also building a brand that aligns with you. It's not all about social media. If you think it's personal branding is about social media, that's not true, because there are different ways. Personal branding for somebody who's an employee who wants to work up the academic rank or in their leadership rank or up the corporate or career ladder is very different from somebody who is thinking about personal branding for business. And I'm going to break that down for you. All right, so the link is in the description below, and I'll hope to see you again tomorrow. I will be doing live stream more often, probably one tomorrow again. And if you have any questions, put in the comments. I'll try to answer again tomorrow. All right, I'll see you. Take care. Bye.